So one of the most important things you can do to achieve, really to achieve any goal at all, is to measure the activity. So let's keep it simple and let's do the kind of thing that most people are wondering about, and they say they want to lose weight. If you want to lose weight, the absolute first step that you can go through is to write down everything that you eat. Do that for a week. It's not that hard. All you have to do is take a little journal with you, and this is the key. This is the trick. Don't wait till the end of the day. Don't try to remember what you ate. Actually write down everything that you eat that day. What you'll find when you start to measure your food consumption and you start working on losing weight, a lot of people, what they find, they'll say things like, oh, I hardly ever eat anything. Oh, I only eat lunch and then I have a really light dinner. And what they'll find as they start to measure it, as they start to write things down, they're eating way more than they think that they're eating, because eating becomes a habit. And eating just becomes kind of part of something that you do. You don't even measure it consciously. What you think of as hunger isn't really hunger at all. You think you're hungry when it comes to cravings. They're not really hunger. They're psychological. They're all in your head. You're not really hungry. Your body doesn't really need the food. And in a very, very similar way, you're not really eating. You're just kind of going through the motions. This is like your subconscious, like, oh, there's food, grab it, put it in my mouth. Oh, there's food. You don't even think about it. It's not even occurring to you that you're eating. Let me give you this example. Let's say you go to the fridge and you see like a piece of pie and you think, oh man, that's so good. And then you grab the piece of pie and you put it on a plate and you go to sit down to eat it, but then somebody calls, you get a phone call. And then this is going to be a long phone call. So you go ahead and you start talking to the person, and you're sitting there talking to them, and then, you kind of take a little bite. And then you're sitting there talking to them, yeah, you take another little bite, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, you hang up the phone, and, like, your pie's just gone. Like, where'd it go? You don't even know, you don't even remember eating it. Like, it never even occurred to you. It's like it was there, you had a phone call, and now it's gone. Well, that's what happens to you most of the day. Most of the day, that's the way that you're eating. Most of the day, you walk by the snack table and you just grab something and you throw it in your mouth. Before you know it, you've eaten 2,000 calories, and you don't even, if you were to sit down and write down that at the end of the day, you wouldn't even record any of that stuff. That's not food. I didn't really eat any of that stuff, but you did. So that's where measuring comes in. That's where writing things down. Just get a small journal. That's all you need. Just a small journal that you can carry around with you, and then start writing that stuff down. All of a sudden, you'll start to see exactly what I'm talking about. If you start writing things down, that will become a self-selecting group. So you might see some chips or something like that, like a bag of chips, and you'll think, oh, I don't want to write that down. I don't want to add that to my list of food, so I'm not going to eat those. Well, that right there is a big win. Just the process of writing things down is going to give you an advantage, because you're not going to want to admit that you ate that, right? So you're not going to eat it. So there you do. You just saved yourself a whole bunch of calories. Let's talk about more than just weight loss, though. Let's talk about every other facet of your life. Let's say it's something related to your kids. How many times did you tell your kids, I love you? Now, it sounds like a simple thing, and I say it all the time. And maybe you do, and maybe you don't. I don't know. But let's say you make a goal, you make an intentional goal to tell your kids, I love you 3 times a day. Once in the morning, hey, I love you, kid. Once in the afternoon, hey, good job. Great talking to you, if you talk to them on the phone or something like that when they're at school. Love you, kid. And then in the afternoon, you write that down. You do a little tally mark. And you can see, not only will that keep you on track because you want to hit those tally marks every day, but you'll be able to look back and see. And that will make an impression on your life. If you're having difficulty with your relationship, a really good thing to do is to purposefully and intentionally compliment your wife or husband, say 3 times a day, or start out with 1 time a day. 1 time a day, 1 compliment. Write down what that compliment was. Put that in your little journal. Make a little, again, all you need is a little notebook. You don't need anything fancy. Put the date up at the top. Complimented my wife's new haircut. There you go. That's something that you did. That's something that you can measure. And then that will remind you the next day when you do that. Oh, I got to remember. I got to find something. And think about that for just a second. Think about that for just a second. You've got to find something to compliment. Don't you think that will make you a better husband or wife? If you're looking for something to compliment in your spouse, don't you think that will make you better? If you're looking for an opportunity to tell your kids I love you 3 times a day, don't you think that'll make you a better father?